So when I think about Adekunle Gold, even when he performed here, like the way like he was moving, he did something with OK Africa, and
Yes.
I it reminded me of Fela, like when he was on the stage. I was like, okay, like this is something that people can digest. I also like Paddle Rankin is
Mm,
really good. I mean, well, DeVito and Wizkid are huge here
mhm,
already, like people know. I think that Olamide
mm,
is also fantastic. I
mhm.
really love Oxlade. There's
Okay.
so many. Like Rema is like the bad boy, like Chris Brown, like the young, like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like, he reminds me of them. And I really also like Bella Shmurda. I think that he like if he's to do anything with American rappers,
Mhm.
it could work.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I'm working with the Recording Academy to get some African artists to perform for the Grammy.com section. So that will be coming out
Wow.
soon. And I hope Made in Lagos wins a Grammy. I'm just going to say that. I really do. And Sweetie has been doing her work. Like she's been
Yeah.
promoting Wizkid's.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think she has a huge part in that also, to be honest.
Hmm. Hmm. So yeah,
Hmm.
so shout out to Reese, and shout out to Sweetie, and shout out to everybody
Yeah.
who's pushing the sound from this part
Yeah.
of the world. Right, okay, so Richardine Bartee, am I pronouncing your name well?
Yes,
Richardine
you.
Bartee.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
So I was born in New York, but my parents are from Liberia.
Liberia. So you are my
Yes.
sister.
Yes.
Ah, interesting, interesting. Have you been back to Liberia recently?
No, not recently. Only when I was a child.
Ah, so why haven't you gone back?
I'm gonna go back soon. I haven't gone back because I don't know, man. It's
Mm,
the war.
hmm.
My parents are kind of like, you need to be here, and
Okay.
so. But now, I'm grown, so I can go and create my own memories and learn about my
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
You know.
I like that. I like that. You want to create your own memories. I like that. Because
Yeah.
you're basically what am I saying? Basically, you're an African. I feel like you people should come home and see how this continent is, so you could tell the rest of the world and everything. But that's fine. I would have guessed you were from either from the Caribbean, maybe Trinidad and Tobago, or one of those countries. Honestly, I'd have guessed you were from those places. But it's
I I,
interesting.
I get that a lot.
I think it has to do with your name. I think it
That's
has to do with your name. Okay, okay. So I understand you are a PR, you are a publicist, a world-renowned publicist. You've worked with a lot of huge names in the industry. But for those who do not know
yeah.
who you are, I'd like you to speak about yourself now. So who is Richard Dean? I've just given you an introduction, but I'd like you to say it yourself.
So Richardine Bartee is a publicist by day, superhero by night. No, I'm kidding. I've been blessed to work with international superstars, um, artists in Africa, namely Nigeria, Ghana, East Africa. So that's like Eddie Kenzo, Peruzzi, oh my gosh, Dope Nation. I've worked on DeVito's tour, the A Good Time tour, and I mean the list goes on. It's been absolutely amazing to learn the culture, to be infused into the music, and to get closer to who I am as an African.
Okay, okay. So you wanted to get closer to who you are as an African. Was that the main reason you decided to start working with this African act? Like, let's say Nigerian, for example. Was that one of the reasons why you decided that, it's time for me to start working with this guy?
I think because Nigeria has such a like competitive spirit and
Okay.
you guys have an industry unlike other places like there's South Africa, but from what I see like as an outsider and being in the States, what I see from Nigeria is there's always music coming out like how it is in the US.
Mhm.
And I just love that. I gravitate towards it, the way it sounds. When I watch the music videos, like the culture, how people are dancing, singing, smiling, the African women, beautiful,
Mhm.
that those kind of things.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
fun. So that's what it was for me with Nigeria. And then later on, I started to learn more about Ghana and then the other countries in Africa and their music. So it's
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
So if I was to Google your name, one part that would come out is your work with Grunge Cake. So
What if
so
Google
so
my name?
so
Hmm.
if I Google your name, I'm going to see some of your work with Grunge Cake.
Hmm.
That's it. So what is Grunge Cake? Is it a magazine? I just want you to clear the air regarding that. So you introduce it to those who do not know what it is.
Yeah, so Grunge Cake is my magazine. I started it when I was in college, and it's since turned into a creative agency. So we represent artists, other businesses. We've been blessed to work with people across the pond and also here. And what we do is we take obscure talents and new businesses to the mainstream or to the next level. And we always operate at the highest, level. So when we're working with someone, the goal is to take them from the beginning to where they can stand and be in a category with someone that is, excelsior or like top tier. So that's the
Okay.
work that we do every day.
I understand you have
Yeah.
some affiliation with the Grammys. I don't want to jump the gun. So like, what exactly do you do with the Grammys, or how are you affiliated with the Grammys?
So I'm a Recording Academy member. That's
Okay.
first. And then secondly, I'm also a Grammy U mentee. So that what that means is that um, college kids specifically, before COVID, what I was doing was I was working with my first mentee, and I would introduce her to people in the industry so she can create her network. So when she graduates, she'll be able to have an internship or have tutelage and be able to work within the industry. So that's what it was. So I took her to like SoundCloud. I took her to Warner Records. We went there. We had a lot of things set up, but COVID came. So yeah,
Wow,
that's what.
interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting. So what does a recording academy member do? You've just explained the mentee part now. So what does a recording academy member do? Do you get to vote on who gets the
Yeah.
Grammy? Is that what you guys do?
Yeah, so we have associate members and then we have voting members. Voting members are usually people who are creating the music. So you have like recording artists, you have producers, composers, people that work with the music, and then you have associate members who I would say are like publicists or people that are working the music. So you have
Okay.
those types of people, and what happens is we do a lot of music advocacy, so helping rights laws and making sure that artists are paid. Like those are the kind of things that we do all year round, and then we celebrate at the Grammys.
At the Grammys. Okay, interesting. I would not have guessed that there was a distinction between both parties. I would not have guessed, but everything sounds really really interesting. So basically, what you're telling me now is, if anyone wants to win a Grammy, you should have Richardine in your corner.
I mean, it's good for Academy members to know who you are. So when it's time for you to be nominated or like submit your record, then yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'd like you to describe the process for me of how the Grammy winner is decided, because I know this is information you are privy to. So how is a Grammy winner decided? Like, we just hear these things and we hear that so and so person have been nominated, their body of work, their EP, whatever has been nominated, then somebody wins the Grammy. So how does it work?
Yes, so loosely, what I'll say is that the first part is submitting your recording. So if
Okay.
that's an album, if it's a single, whatever it is, it has to be submitted for it to be considered. And there are dates when that needs to be done.
Okay.
And it is a very lengthy process because you have to add everything. So from the place that the record was recorded, the people's names that worked on it, like everyone. So like if it's a music video director, um, re- um, like a producer, whoever did the graphic design for
Okay.
the project. Like someone like me, if I'm going to nominate someone,
Mhm.
it's more than likely is someone that I know or something that I worked on, because if it's just someone that is reaching out, I won't have all of those details, you know,
Okay.
like, and then usually, like if you go to a Wikipedia page, it might have that. It might have like the recording studio, where it was made, the city, the state, and all those things. So you need all of those things. And then what happens afterwards when it's successfully submitted, then we would then see, you know, who submitted their stuff. And then there's over 80 categories and many different genres, many different things. So per genre, you can go and see like, okay, this project, you know, people are more than likely going to vote for the people that they know or the sound that they're familiar with. As a member, you don't have to, you know, fill out all of the categories. You just fill out what you know. So that's what really happens. So the more people that know about your project within the Recording Academy, the better your chances are.
Okay.
You know, that's like anything. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's like, so you like, so an artist or like a record label is good when they're doing press, you know, speaking to guys like you, and then taking out ads and stuff, because we see it. You know, we see it and then we're familiar with it, so then we know it exists. So that's the best thing to do. You always have to promote, because if we don't know, you know, it exists, then how can you nominate or vote it?
That's nice. That's nice. So is it possible for an artist to lobby the academy members? Is it possible? Say you opt for the Grammy nomination now, then you then map up a strategy, just like you described, you know, promoting. That's one part. But lobbying the members, is it possible for a musician or a choreographer or anything, or a director to lobby members of the academy to get the Grammy?
I think, well, you could take out ads that say for Grammy consideration during the season, but people are not, they don't recommend you contact anyone directly. You cannot do that. There's like a list of rules, like, and it's public, you know, like you could literally go and see this, like there's a list of rules, and if you break any of those rules, then like you're disqualified. So all of that stuff is in plain sight. I can send it to you also, so you can, you know, see. But
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So I want you to clear something up for me. Burna Boy won the Grammy, right? So he got the pay, and he was announced as the, I can't remember the category, but he won the Grammy. So for a Wizkid, who also won the Grammy with being part of the Beyonce project, does he get a gong? Does he get a play?
He can also get, because he's a songwriter, or he's not. So with Burna Boy, he's the primary artist. That's what we call the prize. He won the Grammy as the primary artist, but because music is collaboration. So let's say, for instance, the people that also worked on the Burna Boy album, you know, they won a Grammy too. You understand? Like all of them. So the engineers and stuff may not get a trophy, but they also won the Grammy because they were part of that project. So I know, because I tweeted something recently and people were like fighting under the tweet. So
let's get to that to the beat.
Yeah, Wizkid definitely won a Grammy, but he was not the primary artist. Beyonce was. So that's the difference, is he wasn't the primary artist. But even if I'm a graphic designer and I design the Made in Lagos cover, when Wizkid wins, I win. I'm a Grammy award-winning graphic designer. You understand? So everyone that has a part in the collaboration, in the music, they win a Grammy when he wins the Grammy. We wouldn't be the primary artist. He would be, and he would get the trophy, but we also won a Grammy because we were part of that project. So if I'm working as a publicist, I would now be a Grammy award-winning publicist.
Oh, really?
So, so this is have everybody's name on there, you know, for the recording and who worked on it, the team that worked on it, and then that's how that works. That's how
that works. I'm really glad that you've explained this, because this has been it's been fodder for argument, and everybody keeps arguing. No, he's getting this, he's getting that. But I'm glad that you've cleared the air regarding this now. So let's talk about that tweet. That tweet, what was the tweet, first of all? I don't want you to be the one to say, I want you to say it. What was the tweet? What was the question? What was the question you asked that caused a lot of problems? An argument. What's the question?
Man, they still putting pepper on me on Twitter. But so basically I asked, I said, besides Burna Boy and Wizkid, which other African artists do we think are going to win a Grammy in 5 years? And I asked that specifically because my work is about pushing African artists and Black music in general. So I wanted to know, based on the African music fans specifically, who do they think is the best? So then I can reach out and see how I can help. So that's what the tweet was about for me. They don't know that, but that's what it was. Because I'm working, actually, I haven't said this yet, but I'm working with the Recording Academy to get some African artists to perform for the Grammy.com section. So that will be coming out soon.
Okay.
So literally after I got the confirmation for that, that's what made me go and tweet, because I wanted to reach out to more artists to see if, they can do something with the Grammy website. So that's what it was. And it went completely crazy. Like Hip TV posted it. Like it just, I don't know. I was just like, whoa. And then people were fighting like, oh, Wizkid didn't win a Grammy. I'm like, he did. But then people were like screenshot it, put in the Grammy website and showing that Wizkid won. So it went absolutely nuts.
So you see why I had to ask the question. I needed you to make that clarification. You understand? Because
yes.
Wizkid has one of the biggest if not the biggest fan base in the country. Yeah. He can do no wrong in the eyes of Wizkid FC. So if you come and say he hasn't won a Grammy, or you suggest anything, oh my God, they will come to you.
Won the Grammy. He did. He won.
Okay. So let me ask you now, personally, from what you've seen and from your work, the fact that you've been working with a number of Nigerian artists. So let me ask you now, in the next 5 years, I'm asking your own personal opinion now. Which artists are on the path to winning a Grammy, or likely that, yes, this person may win a Grammy?
I feel strongly about Adekunle Gold. I feel like the type of music that he makes, it would make sense for here and like the people, because here, I mean, there's a lot of African people here, right? That either they moved here or like, from slavery or whatever it is. So we know African music and we understand, but the rest of America doesn't quite get it yet. So that's what my work every day is about, pushing the African agenda and pushing Afro beats. But I think when I think about America and I think about the types of music that we tend to consume, I try to find like the best artists to introduce their music. So when I think about Adekunle Gold, even when he performed here, like the way like he was moving, he did something with OK Africa. Yeah. And it reminded me of Fela, like when he was on the stage. I was like, okay, like this is something that people can digest. I also like Paddle Rankin is really good. I mean, well, Davido and Wizkid are huge here already, like people know. I think that Olamide is also fantastic. I really love Oxlade. There's so many. Like Rema is like the bad boy, like Brown, like the young, he reminds me of them. And I really also like Bella Shmurda. I think that if he's to do anything with American rappers, it could work.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that should be interesting to see. Everybody feels the same about Bella. We all recognize the fact that he's a rising talent, and hopefully
he's powerful.
Yes. So Adekunle Gold, Oxlade, Olamide, Rema, Pato Rankin, and Bella Shmurda. Those are the ones that, at least off the top of your head. Off the top,
there's so many guys, and then I mean even the women. Like I love Tenny, I love Thames, I love Rhea Sean. That just. To Aristocrat. Like there's I think particularly like, and I hope Ghanaians don't get mad at me, but like Nigeria, like it's something about like the Nigerian energy is just very different. So and I think it kind of reminds me of the UK with like the tutelage and how like amazing the sound is. Like when you listen to a UK singer, it's like, okay, this is a singer. So it's very much the same for me. So
Oh, okay. So talking about reassurance. So I had Lemonade recently, and I was like, okay. So
Yeah.
it's the market, it's the American market ready for sounds like that. You mentioned Thames as well. So let's just pick these two artists, Rhea and Thames. So and now the Essence with Wizkid is like burning up. I don't even know if it's on the chart already, but everybody on Instagram seems to think it's a song of the summer. Not in Nigeria, but in America. So that's a
Really?
big deal. Yes, I just saw that today. I think today or yesterday. They had a song by a musician named, I think, Blast. His name is Blast, and he had a song. Then it was between Blast and Essence, and Americans actually picked Essence as the song of the summer. So in my mind, like as a Nigerian, I'm like, oh, okay, this looks like
it's so beautiful though.
Yeah.
Like it has all of the elements. This is what I'm saying. Like I think Americans have gravitated towards it because the way that it sounds. Like we're so used to tropical Caribbean sounds, but all of that comes from Africa. So it is like the indigenous, like it's the rawest form, and I think that's what we're hearing and we're gravitating towards because it's done so well. And I hope Made in Lagos wins the Grammy. I'm just gonna say that. I probably do. And Sweetie has been doing her work.
Yeah.
Like she's been promoting Wizkid.
Yeah.
So I think she has a huge part in that also, to be honest.
So shout out to Wiz, and shout out to Sweetie, and shout out to everybody who's pushing the sound from this part of the world. Shout out to everybody. So I know you also have a couple of stuff you're working on at the moment. So talk to me about that. What are the plans you have? I know you've spoken about your work with the Grammys and getting artists to perform, do stuff with the website and everything. So what are you working on at the moment?
At the moment, I'm resurrecting the print component of my business. That's how I started actually, and I think it's important to document what's going on right now, like how like African music is coming back into the States in a different way and making its mark. And like now the musicians that we have are like young and cool, have like new ideas, bringing new sounds. I'm starting to hear it, even like the songs that I've heard that are unreleased, like American rappers are incorporating Afro beats. Like, so I don't know if you guys know, but like people are hearing it and they're taking notes. So it's just a matter of time, like I particularly, I guess I could say this. I won't say his name, but like, so it's one of Young Thug's artists basically. And when I went to go meet with him, he played one of his unreleased songs, and it's an Afrobeat song. And I was like blown away. He was like, yeah, I wanted you to hear this. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, you guys, you're paying attention. And it was so beautiful. I was like, okay, so I know it's working, and I know it's only a matter of time before like it becomes normal. And that's what I'm really most excited about and what I'm just waiting for. So things like that, I want to be able to document them and say like, okay, in 2021, this is what we were doing, after the lockdown. And now we can look back in 10 years and then have these like editorials and tell these stories and say, this is where we started and this is where we are now.
Okay, so I mean, you're working to resurrect. What's it going to? Is it the same Grunge Cake magazine? Is it going to be called Grunge Cake as well? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what do we need to do to support this dream or this plans that we have? Those followers or fans of music. What do we need to do? Do we need to follow Instagram page, or do we need to make noise about what you plan to do?
Yes, please. That would be amazing. Here's what I will say, and I'm indebted to everybody in Africa and all around the world that has been like promoting me and telling people about what I've been doing, is that it makes it so much easier to go to these American media outlets and like radio stations and say, like, look at this, like, look at the engagement on these people's pages. Like, even if you're telling me that you don't understand the music, you should support it because it's gonna bring a bigger viewership to what you're doing. And because they are able to see that, like my tweet that went crazy, like it's like, oh, okay. Like if they don't get anything else, they get the business side. So it's like, all right, cool. So I Yes, keep telling people about the work that I'm doing. And I'm not the only one that's doing it. There's other people that have like become my crutches and are helping me and pushing the agenda too. And I mean, not all of them are Black or African, but they're starting to understand. And I've been having to teach a lot of people about Afrobeats and what it is. And I'm so happy that it's finally permeating and it's making its mark. So yes.
So before you go, I'd like you to, share your social media handles, for anybody who's going to watch this and would like to, get in touch with you for one reason or the other. So
Okay. On Twitter, I'm the Yams. That's THEYAMS. And on Instagram is my first name, last name, RICHARDINE BARTEE.
okay, so guys, do follow Richardine. Richardine, thank you very much for speaking with me.